My brother made a family tree for our parents' 50th anniversary, but left out my black husband and our mixed kids, just my name with a blank space. When I showed up with my own version that included my family's white II veteran grandfather and first black nurse grandmother, he stayed silent at the party. 3 days later, CPS showed up at 7 a.m. with police claiming we were guilty of severe neglect because our kids walked to school with friends and we have African masks on our walls, then started a months-long campaign using his financial firm connections to destroy our lives. When my brother Dale announced his big family tree project for our parents' 50th anniversary, my kids were the first people I told. They're mixed. My husband Jerome is black and I'm white, and honestly, they rarely get invited to the official family stuff. Dale always has some excuse about keeping things traditional or simple, but I figured a family tree would be different. When I told them, my daughter Aisha literally screamed with joy, "We're gonna be on grandma's wall with everybody else," and my son Marcus started drawing our branch immediately. They get so excited when they're actually included in family things. It breaks my heart how rare it is. 2 weeks before the anniversary party, Dale sent me his draft to review. I opened it expecting to see my beautiful family, but there we were, me, alone on my branch. No Jerome, no kids, just my name with a tasteful blank space next to it. I called him immediately, trying to keep my voice steady. "Where's my family, Dale?" He cleared his throat. "Look, I'm trying to keep it clean for the presentation. You know how some of the older relatives are." That's when I decided, screw it. If he wouldn't include us, I'd make my own. I spent 3 days creating the most beautiful family tree you've ever seen. Found photos of Jerome's family going back 4 generations. His grandfather who served in World War II. His grandmother who was one of the first black nurses in our state. Our kids' baby photos mixed with their latest school pictures. Everyone who made us who we are. When I showed the kids, Marcus whispered, "We look like we belong there, Mom." "Yeah, baby, you do." The anniversary party was at Dale's country club. Of course it was. I waited until after his PowerPoint presentation of our lily white lineage, then stood up during the toast portion. "I have something to add," I announced, pulling out my poster board. The room went dead silent as I unveiled our complete family tree. Dale forgot a few people, so I helped him out. You could hear a pin drop. Then Jerome's mom started clapping. Then my kids. Then a few cousins I hadn't talked to in years. But Dale? His face went from red to purple to white. He didn't say a word during the party, just kept shooting looks at Jerome like he'd committed some crime by existing. I should have known that silence was dangerous. 3 days later, 7 a.m., pounding on the door. CPS workers with a police escort said they'd received reports of severe neglect and dangerous living conditions. They pushed past Jerome, started photographing everything. The traditional African masks on our walls, violent imagery exposed to children, the fact that Aisha and Marcus walked to school with their friends, lack of supervision, Jerome teaching Marcus to cook, child labor. The worker, this smug-looking woman who kept side-eyeing Jerome, actually wrote down that our kids seemed coached when they said they were happy. "We need to speak to the children privately," she announced. When I protested, she said, "That's exactly what a guilty parent would say." I watched them take my babies into their bedroom, heard Aisha crying through the door. Marcus kept saying, "We didn't do anything wrong. We're happy. Please." 45 minutes they were in there. 45 minutes of Jerome pacing, hands shaking, whispering, "They're gonna take them. Just like everyone said would happen when we got married. They're gonna take our babies." When they finally came out, the lead worker said they'd have to do a full investigation, said the kids showed signs of identity confusion and divided loyalties, said maybe they'd be better served in a more stable environment. Jerome's mom had to physically hold me back. The next 2 weeks were hell. Interviews, home visits, they contacted the kids' schools, their doctors, even their friends' parents. Every normal parenting decision became evidence. We let them pick their own hairstyles, parents refusing to guide children. They speak a little AAVE.